What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Talk. Today, let's get started with Leon Edwards has finally broken his silence following his devastating knockout loss to Carlos Prates. For weeks, fans noticed his unusual absence, no interviews, no statements, and complete inactivity across all his social media platforms. Edwards, who has always been selective with his public comments, seemed to retreat entirely from the spotlight as questions grew about his mindset, his future, and how he was processing the setback. Today, however, the former welterweight champion resurfaced with a single, meaningful message. He posted a photo on X, formerly Twitter, along with a reflective caption, "Yesterday's the past, tomorrow's the future, but today is a gift." Although brief, the message offers a glimpse into his mentality, focused on acceptance, growth, and the challenge of moving forward after one of the toughest stretches of his career. Edwards is now on a 3-fight losing streak, marking the most difficult period since he entered the UFC. His fall began when he lost the welterweight championship to Belal Muhammad at UFC 304, a heartbreaking defeat after years of climbing to the top of the division. He then faced rising contender Sean Brady, who managed to submit Edwards, handing him a second consecutive loss. The recent knockout by Carlos Prates only deepened his struggles, leading many to speculate about his confidence, his physical state, and his long-term plans within the organization. Still, Edwards has never been the type to shy away from adversity. His history in the sport is built on resilience, long winning streaks, and proving critics wrong. With his silence now broken, discussions have intensified around what could be next for Rocky. One matchup that continues to surface is the long-anticipated fight with Jorge Masvidal, a grudge match years in the making, rooted in their infamous backstage altercation. Fans are now left wondering, will Edwards choose a high-profile rivalry to restart his momentum, or will he opt for a more strategic rebuild against a ranked contender? His recent message suggests he isn't dwelling on the past but is instead looking toward a meaningful next chapter. What do you think is the best move for Leon Edwards at this stage of his career? Share your thoughts and predictions in the comments. Before we jump into the next story, we have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon. It really helps us out, and ensures you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. Alexa Grasso has officially withdrawn from her scheduled fight against Rose Namajunas at UFC 324, a matchup that many fans were eagerly anticipating. The announcement came as a surprise to the MMA community, as Grasso had been preparing for what was expected to be one of the most significant bouts in the women's flyweight division. The reason for her withdrawal has not yet been disclosed, leaving room for speculation about whether the decision was related to injury, personal circumstances, or other issues behind the scenes. With Grasso out, the UFC has moved quickly to keep the bout intact for the card. Rose Namajunas, a former two-time strawweight champion, will now face rising contender Natalia Silva. This replacement matchup is already generating attention, as Silva is coming off an impressive winning streak and is widely considered one of the most dangerous young fighters in the division. Interestingly, Silva has a very recent connection to Grasso. Just in May at UFC 315, Natalia Silva secured a unanimous decision victory over Alexa Grasso, a win that significantly elevated her status within the division. With a perfect 7-0 record in the UFC, Silva has built strong momentum and is increasingly being viewed as a possible future title challenger. Her addition to this fight not only preserves the matchup, but potentially makes it even more intriguing. For Rose Namajunas, this change in opponent presents both an opportunity and a challenge. Preparing for a seasoned champion like Grasso is vastly different from preparing for an explosive, fast, and unpredictable rising star like Silva. However, Rose has repeatedly proven her ability to adapt under pressure, and her championship experience may play a key role in navigating this late-notice change. Fans are now left wondering what this means for Alexa Grasso's trajectory. Will she return to competition soon? Is her withdrawal minor or something more serious? The lack of details adds an element of mystery to the situation. Regardless, the new matchup between Rose Namajunas and Natalia Silva promises to deliver high-level action, significant divisional implications, and a fresh storyline heading into UFC 324. As the event approaches, anticipation continues to build around how Namajunas will handle the surging Silva, and what Grasso's next move will be once she's ready to return. Move on to another news. Kamaru Usman recently shared his thoughts on the current state of the welterweight division, and he made it clear that aside from himself, there is one fighter he believes is most deserving of a title opportunity: Carlos Prates. Speaking candidly about the rising contender's rapid ascent, Usman explained why Prates has stood out out among the division's growing list of hungry challengers. Usman acknowledged that Prates may still be one fight away from solidifying his position, but he emphasized that the Brazilian's impact has been remarkable considering how quickly he has climbed through the rankings. According to Usman, Prates has accomplished a tremendous amount in a relatively short period, yet hasn't had enough time for his performances to resonate globally and fully reach the broader MMA audience. Even so, Usman believes the quality of Prates' performances speaks for itself. What impresses Usman most is Prates' mentality, his willingness to compete, his fearlessness, and his eagerness to test himself against anyone. Usman highlighted the attitude Prates brings to every fight. Even when he faces adversity or suffers a loss, he immediately looks for ways to improve and return stronger. That mindset, Usman noted, is what defines championship-caliber athletes. It's the kind of hunger and resilience that both fans and the UFC leadership, Dana White, Hunter Campbell, and the rest of the team, value deeply. Usman also praised other rising talents in the division, including the highly regarded Michael Morales. He made it clear that his comments weren't meant to diminish anyone's accomplishments. Instead, he expressed genuine appreciation for how many fresh, exciting fighters are emerging in the welterweight ranks. Still, among all of them, Prates is the one he sees as having the right blend of skill, mentality, and momentum to earn a shot at the title after Usman gets his opportunity. With the welterweight division more competitive than ever, Usman's endorsement adds even more intrigue to the championship picture. Whether the UFC agrees with his assessment remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: Carlos Prates is quickly becoming one of the most compelling contenders to watch. Move on to another news. Mike Perry has never been one to hold back his opinions, and today he directed his usual unfiltered energy toward heavyweight contender Tom Aspinall. Following Aspinall's recent video update addressing his eye injury and the ongoing criticism surrounding it, Perry publicly blasted him, urging him to be a man and stop what he described as complaining. Perry's comments came shortly after Aspinall attempted to clear the air about the severity of his injury and the circumstances that led to his withdrawal from competition. Instead of offering sympathy, Perry doubled down with harsh words, referencing the pressure Aspinall once carried as one of the UFC's fastest-rising heavyweights. According to Perry, the narrative around Aspinall shifted rapidly. Not long ago, fans and analysts saw Aspinall as the next major force in the division, someone destined to challenge the likes of Jon Jones and potentially carry the heavyweight division into a new era. But injuries, delays, and recent setbacks have allowed critics to surface, something Perry believes Aspinall should toughen up against. Perry referenced Jon Jones' earlier remarks calling Aspinall a quitter, adding fuel to the fire. He suggested that Aspinall went from being the division's golden prospect to someone now facing backlash from the same fans who once praised him. Perry mocked the idea of Aspinall being overwhelmed by criticism, saying that everyone is always going to have something negative to say, especially when expectations are high. He even invoked motivational figure David Goggins, implying that Goggins would challenge Aspinall to embrace hardship rather than speak publicly about it. According to Perry, real toughness is shown by pushing through adversity, whether that means doing push-ups, running miles on a broken leg, or simply refusing to complain. His message was blunt: life is hard, and dwelling on setbacks only makes it harder. While Perry's comments drew mixed reactions, some seeing them as unnecessarily harsh, others viewing them as classic Perry motivation, they've undeniably reignited conversation around Aspinall's future. The situation raises questions about athlete vulnerability, public pressure, and the fine line between toughness and genuine well-being. As the debate continues, all eyes are now on Tom Aspinall to see how he responds, both verbally and in his eventual return to the octagon. Move on to another news. News has emerged that Islam Makhachev was offered the opportunity to defend his welterweight title in January, but the idea was ultimately shut down, and the decision reportedly came from none other than Khabib Nurmagomedov. According to Ali Abdelaziz, Makhachev's longtime manager, the UFC was actively trying to secure him for a main event title defense early in the year. Potential opponents included former champion Kamaru Usman and rising contender Ian Gary, both of whom were seriously considered for the slot. In an interview with MMA Junkie, Abdelaziz explained that the UFC had reached out directly to him with the intention of getting Makhachev back inside the octagon sooner rather than later. The organization saw January as an ideal timeframe, and they believed the matchup options were strong enough to headline a pay-per-view event. According to Ali, Makhachev gave the proposal some thought, but before any decision could be finalized, Khabib intervened. As Abdelaziz put it, even the UFC reached out to me. They were asking Islam to fight a main event in January. He thought about it, and Khabib said, "Hey, shut up." That brief comment from the former lightweight champion carries a lot of weight given Khabib's long-standing role as Makhachev's mentor, strategist, and voice of reason. It appears Khabib felt the timing simply wasn't right, whether due to training demands, recovery needs, or broader career planning. Abdelaziz went on to confirm that Usman's name was heavily in the mix as a possible opponent, a fight that would have generated massive interest given the former welterweight champion's legacy and competitive hunger. Ian Gary, one of the division's fastest rising stars, was also discussed as a potential challenger, showing just how seriously the UFC was exploring its options. Ariel Helwani later weighed in on the story, adding more attention to the situation and sparking debate within the MMA community. Many fans are now wondering why Khabib halted the negotiations and what this means for Makhachev's next title defense. With the January fight officially off the table, anticipation continues to build regarding who Makhachev will face next, and whether Khabib will continue to play a decisive role in shaping his path. Move on to another news. Merab Dvalishvili is gearing up for one of the most significant moments of his career as he prepares to defend his bantamweight title against Petr Yan this weekend. If he secures the victory, it will mark his fourth successful title defense in a single year, an accomplishment that underscores his unmatched drive, discipline, and commitment to staying active at the highest level of the sport. Despite such an intense schedule, Merab has made it clear that he intends to maintain the same level of activity heading into 2026. Speaking to the media, Merab expressed how grateful he is to return to the octagon once again. He emphasized that staying busy is something he genuinely enjoys, explaining that everything about fight preparation feels right to him, aside from the grueling weight cuts. He credited the UFC for giving him continuous opportunities throughout the year, allowing him to stay active in a way that few champions before him have. For Merab, fighting frequently is not just a responsibility, it's a lifestyle he embraces with pride. Looking ahead to his upcoming bout, Merab made it clear that he cannot afford to take Petr Yan lightly. The Georgian champion acknowledged that Yan is riding a strong three-fight winning streak, with victories over elite contenders such as Davison Figueiredo, Song Yadong, and Marcus McGee. Merab believes that this momentum makes Yan the most deserving challenger at this moment. He also expects Yan to be especially motivated, not only because the belt is on the line, but because Yan will be looking to avenge their previous meeting. Merab predicted that Yan would come into the fight hungry and determined to finish him. This, he said, is why he cannot relax for even a moment. Beating a fighter once doesn't guarantee success the second time. He stressed the importance of matching the intensity and focus he brought into their first fight. Merab concluded by promising fans an exciting, highly competitive matchup. He does not anticipate a one-sided performance like their last encounter. Instead, he expects a war, one that he believes will deliver exactly what UFC fans love. Move on to another news. Joe Rogan recently shared his excitement over Gable Stevesson's stunning performance in Anthony Pettis' MMA promotion, where the Olympic gold medalist secured a knockout in just 30 seconds. The moment was so impressive that Rogan said he immediately texted UFC President Dana White, urging him to pay close attention to Stevesson. According to Rogan, Stevesson possesses the rare blend of athleticism, size, and power that could completely reshape the heavyweight division. Rogan has long been outspoken about the state of the heavyweight roster, often pointing out that the division lacks the depth and explosiveness seen in other weight classes. In his view, Stevesson stands out as the kind of generational athlete who could instantly elevate the division. At just 250 pounds, Stevesson moves with a level of agility that Rogan described as cat-like, an attribute almost unheard of for someone of his size. What shocked Rogan most was the sheer speed and violence of Stevesson's knockout. In the fight clip Rogan sent to Dana White, Stevesson delivered a beautifully timed left hook that dropped his opponent instantly. Even more astonishing, Stevesson followed the knockout punch with a powerful takedown, showcasing elite wrestling instincts even in the midst of finishing his opponent. Rogan emphasized that the sequence unfolded in a blur. Stevesson landed the left hand, watched his opponent fall, and immediately transitioned into a dominant grappling position, all within seconds. Rogan praised Stevesson's versatility, highlighting not just his Olympic wrestling pedigree but also his athletic dynamism. He noted that Stevesson is capable of performing backflips despite his size, and recalled a moment in another bout where Stevesson Stevesson knocked his opponent out in a dirty boxing exchange before effortlessly leaping over the top rope and landing on the apron, an acrobatic move rarely seen from a heavyweight fighter. For Rogan, Stevesson's combination of freak athleticism, explosive power, and world-class wrestling makes him the most intriguing heavyweight prospect in years. Although Stevesson has yet to sign with the UFC, Rogan believes it's only a matter of time before he becomes one of the most talked about names in the sport. In his opinion, Stevesson may very well be the key to revitalizing the division and bringing a new era of excitement to heavyweight MMA. Move on to another news. Dana White and Nina Drama have found themselves at the center of criticism following a promotional video released ahead of UFC 323. The short clip, intended to be humorous and attention-grabbing, instead sparked backlash across social media, leading many fans to label it tone-deaf, awkward, or outright inappropriate. In response to the mounting criticism, Dana White has stepped in to address the situation directly. The video was initially posted on Nina Drama's Instagram account and featured a comedic bit in which a box drops toward her, teasing a slapstick-style moment. Nina jokingly asks viewers if they were waiting for the box to hit her, before pivoting to promote UFC 323 tickets on AXS. The skit continues with another seemingly accidental impact, prompting exaggerated reactions from both Nina and Dana. While clearly meant as lighthearted comedy, the audience reception was overwhelmingly negative. In the comments section, fans didn't hold back. Some accused the pair of doing a poor job promoting the event, suggesting the UFC resorting to such content signaled desperation. Others questioned whether ticket sales were lagging, pointing out that historically, UFC pay-per-views sold out within hours, whereas UFC 323 still had available seats only a week before the event. More pointed comments referenced Dana White's past controversies, with one user writing, "Dana's second time hitting a woman on camera," a remark that quickly gained traction. Another top comment read, "You guys are absolutely terrible at promoting the UFC," while others simply called the video corny, unfunny, and concerning. Among the highest liked remarks was a comment urging Dana White to remove Nina Drama from anything UFC related. "Get her out of the sport, Dana, please." The comment received nearly 10,000 likes before Dana stepped in with a direct reply. While he didn't offer a lengthy explanation or apology, his response signaled that he was aware of the criticism and willing to engage with the conversation rather than ignore it. The incident has reignited ongoing debates about UFC promotional strategies, fan engagement, and the fine line between humor and poor taste. With UFC 323 fast approaching, it remains to be seen whether the backlash will have any impact on ticket sales, or whether this will simply be another brief social media flare-up in the world of MMA.